Removing the scabs after my hair transplant was one of the most satisfying yet weirdest feelings I've ever felt. The scab took 5 days to form, and if you ever had a scab on your knee or elbow, just imagine that covering your entire scalp with a bunch of hairs trying to poke through it. It's super dry and itchy and restricted my forehead from being able to make any facial expression. Not only that, my head is still tender and numb, and removing the scabs was not as easy as I thought. First, we had to scrub and rinse off the donor area. I had to do this twice a day for the first 5 days. Then going into the recipient area, lightly dabbing soap on top of my head, start the process of loosening up the scabs. The clinic told me to do this on day 5. I thought I was a little early, so I was a little scared I was gonna mess up the hair transplant. All the hairs were set into my head. After 15 minutes of waiting, I started massaging my scalp. My scalp was still tender and numb, so I couldn't really feel my fingers. I had to keep repeating this process of adding soap to my head until eventually the scab started to break. This took me about an hour, and my forehead muscles were starting to be released. You could start to see all the hairs under the scabs. My scalp was pretty tender after this, but the cool water rinsing off my scalp was very relieving. It's important to get this scab off as soon as those hairs are set. It helps the survival rate of the hairs and leaves the scalp in a good environment. So relieved that the scabs are off my head, now we get to watch